Hi, this is Eternal King here, bringing you another LOR video today. So I want to talk a little bit about the top deck in the meta, which is the Nora Elder Dragon deck. So specifically, I'm not entirely sure how to best nerf this deck so that it isn't performing as well as it is. The entire deck basically is designed to play units with play effects and then proc Elder Dragon's boons. But honestly, the only card that actually matters in this deck is Lord Broadmane. I've got no problem with Nora and the Pings and Concologist or any of these other cards, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see Lord Broadmane rotated out of Standard at some point. In Eternal, he's fine. I think he's a very important card to exist in Eternal. He belongs with cards like Flock and Disintegrate and a lot of the powerful removal options that exist in that format. Lord Broadmane fits right in. But the thing is, he is currently overperforming in Standard specifically. Because, again, Pytos exists in Standard, right? So being able to play Broadmane, proc the Elder Dragon boon, and basically kill things at will with the Pytosses is currently overperforming in the Standard format. The rest of these cards don't matter. I've never seen Zondiva get played. Riptide Rex is definitely pretty powerful in this deck, but the Plaza Guardian doesn't matter. Wiggly Burblefish doesn't matter. Like, none of these cards matter except for, basically all these things are used to stall out until Broadmane can get played multiple times, and that's how this deck functions. So I think the only fix for this deck specifically in Standard is to just rotate Broadmane. Again, I'd be interested to hear how the pro players feel about that. But, it seems to be the only card in the format currently that is vastly overperforming. It's not overperforming to an insane extent. We are talking about a deck that is winning 55%, and 55% is considered, generally speaking, healthy. So, maybe it doesn't have to be. I lean on the side that Broadmane could probably be rotated out of Standard, and it would still be a fine format. Talking about decks that I'm playing, I'm still on Scouts. Scouts feels great into pretty much every other meta deck that people play right now. I am currently on 2 cheap rallies in this list, and then 2 Genevieves, and that ratioing has felt very good for me. 3 Genevieves and you brick. 1 rally, you don't draw it, so 2 rallies, 2 Genevieves feels good. You might be asking why I'm not on Champ Strength, and the reason for that is I find it's more powerful to essentially play for Demacia 1 turn and then rally the next turn. So basically taking the effects of the Champion Strength and separating them across 2 turns has been performing better for me than committing the full mana expenditure on the big on the big Champ Strength. I do find it's better to and more flexible to say for Demacia on your turn, swing with the Scout and the big buff units. So you probably do a big Scout swing, then you swing with your entire board, and then after the opponent's made some difficult blocks, then you can rally with what you have left and potentially win that. So again, that's going to feel, and not only can you rally, typically you'll be able to play something like a Scrutinizing Sergeant and Relentless Pursuit. So, it's expected that when you do the for Demacia turn, that the opponent's going to be able to kill some of your stuff. So then having this be like essentially a 9 mana effect, but again, it's spell mana mostly. So, you could potentially do this on turn 6, right? If you've managed to bank the spell mana. You could play Scrutinizing Sergeant and Relentless Pursuit, or Quinn in Relentless Pursuit. Usually the Sergeant's better. That's going to feel very powerful. So I find this deck's very, very strong. Again, this is not a top meta deck, but it is going to do well into 99% of what people are playing, other than Nora Do Nothing, because I do think that Nora Do Nothing is a problematic deck right now, and the only reason why it's problematic is because of Broadmane, and Broadmane is just like so good in the Standard format. In Eternal, not as big of a deal, because again, there's a million things that you can do on the swing in Eternal in terms of like bursting out your cards and buffing your cards and burning out your opponent with decimates and things like that. So again, having a Broadmane played at slow speed on turn 6, not a big deal, right? Because you can decimate and auction fervor and do things like that. Having a Broadmane played on turn 6 in standard is a much bigger deal when he's also like healing the nexus for 2 at the same time. And then you kill that one and the opponent just plays another one. It feels very strong in standard. So again, we're seeing a lot of these other decks kind of drop off. For example, Morgana in the aggro shell, elites, ramp, jinx. We're seeing all these decks drop off because, again, at the end of the day, like, why would you ever try to ramp out something big when the opponent can just Broadmane and pie toss? Like, more power to the people who play this deck, because this deck is going to feel terrible into Nora do nothing. Like, Elder Dragon gets played, and like he has tough, so again, I guess you would just spam tough and hope to God that the pings don't get you. So that's one counter, I guess, is the boons from the Elder Dragon. Might you just keep rolling tough over and over again on your big stuff, but otherwise you're gonna have a tough time. So yeah, again, interested to hear your guys' thoughts. Should we nerf Broadmane, or not nerf Broadmane, but just rotate Broadmane to Eternal? Because again, in Eternal he's fine. No complaints there, but in standard he feels a bit overbearing. But let me know what you guys think. Alright, this is Eternal King signing out.